Good evening and welcome to round 6 of the Intercontinental Sim Racing Porsche Cup Challenge, coming to you today from the beautiful city of Montreal. Renamed in 1982 after the tragic death of Gilles Villeneuve in the Formula One race at Zolder, the circuit Gilles Villeneuve has played host to some of the best races in Formula One history. For me, the 2011 race comes to mind. It was that soaking wet race which saw Jenson Button take the lead on the last lap of the race. Hopefully tonight's race will be a little bit drier, but I wouldn't mind a race with even half the excitement of that race. But before we start talking about this race into too much detail, I'd love to introduce your commentary team for tonight's race. My name is Sebastian Boscher-Williams. Joining me is the ever-talented Martin Jacobson, and running all the graphics and cameras is Vincent Evers, who, as always, does a superb job. Good evening to you both. Martin, you've been commentating with me for the last several races now. Who's been your standout driver?
Good evening, Sebastian. Well, where do I start? Of course, I have to mention the overall lead, Alex Gall from the VRS satellite team. And he is in the lead of the overall championship, and he is slowly pulling away. However, last time we saw the newcomer of Jacob Mazejewski in the Carbon Sim Sport car, who was really challenging Alex, and they actually came out equal on points from those two races. And I hope we can continue that fight today. In the AM Championship, we see Ewout van Kloosjen from Backmarker Racing also pulling away a bit in the lead. But we do have someone who's not so obvious from the standing, David Glass, who has done quite a few stellar drives, sadly losing out to some very poor starts, I have to say, sadly, or some incidents on track. So I hope we can see more from him. And today we're at one of my favorite tracks, here in Montreal, and on this track I hope we can see some more of that amazing racing we had so far this season.
We certainly have had some amazing races this season in Montreal. It's also one of my favourite tracks. I cannot wait to get the race underway. But let's have a look at the action on track. As we were saying, Alex Gall still in the lead of the overall championship, with Ewout van Kloosjen possibly going to win the championship today. We'll see how that transpires, but looking at the grid at the moment, everybody's on track. So 10 drivers at the moment, one more driver who has joined the session yet to set a time, with 6 minutes to go in the practice session. So Alex Gall, unsurprisingly, remains at the top of the timing sheets today. Stefan Jones heads up to P9. He's only just done some practice. I've heard from him recently to say that he's been having a few technical issues, so he's only just joined the session, so it'll be interesting to see his development throughout the race. Of course, Stefan got the double podium last time in Watkins Glen. Of course, our race winner in race 1, Alex Gall, and race 2 went to Jakob Mazejewski, who is in P3, which I'm a little bit surprised about, Martin. You'd expect him to be right behind Alex if Watkins was anything to go by.
You do, but it's only practice, it's only warm-up, you know. We don't know the fuel load they're running. Maybe some are running lower, some are running higher. I heard from Alex Gall earlier, who said he doesn't even know what wing to run. He was very unsure about that, so maybe that's the same for Jacob Mazejewski. I mean, they still have 5 minutes of this practice to go, and they still might be trying to figure things out.
What an interesting thought that Alex Gall doesn't know how much wing to use. We've seen him. He's been the setup expert. He's even shared some of his setups to the competitors during the season. So he's always been so surefire, and he always knows what's the quickest way. So if he doesn't know, then you have to hazard a guess that many others might not know. But he's getting a little bit of traffic practicing at the moment, as you've got David Glass, who currently leads the AMP standings at the moment. Of course, David, as you were mentioning, has been super quick this season, has been really competitive, but it's unfortunate that his starts have let him down pretty consistently ever since, you'd say, Detroit, when he had that terrible start of the second race, and then both races at Watkins Glen were equally bad, and he lost so many places, but his recovery drives have always been absolutely stellar, so we'll have to watch out for that for the races. Alex Gall's just backing off, and we can see one of my favourite sections on the track, this final chicane, the right and then the left. And of course, you've got the Wall of Champions on the outside, just inviting you just to take it a little bit quicker and ending up in the wall. I wonder if we'll see anybody in the Wall of Champions today.
And if anything to go by, then we'll probably see Alex Gall hitting it, because he's done so many stellar drives and he's being on point. And still, in this practice, he's just showing his pace. What do you think? Is he one to look at for today?
think so. Sorry, I didn't quite catch your question there, Martin. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, I said if you find anyone here in the Wall of Champions, it's probably will be Alex Cal because he's looking so strong. Do you think he's showing very strong pace, and do you think he will be pulling out the lead early again today?
Thank you very much, Martin, for repeating that. I think, judging by the practice times at the moment, 2:10 is quite a lot around this circuit, so I think it'd be a sure bet, but who knows what happens in the race. And you're right, if it's called the Wall of Champions and Alex Gall is you could say champion-elect at this point with his amazing lead at the moment of over 200 points. I think it's even more than that these days. It's almost 500 points. I was off by quite a margin there. So I think, yeah, if anybody's gonna go in there. So yeah, I think after today's race, if Alex Gal goes in, then the Wall of Champions name will be continued for the next year. But as we have a look, so Montreal, as we have a look at again the final sector, and who's that behind him? The number 169 car of Jakob. Of course, these two were going at it in both Watkins Glen races. What an amazing races they were actually. Both were so evenly matched, and one winner piece going to each of the drivers. As we have a look at Jakob now, it's a very familiar view from Watkins, Martin, isn't it? Just watching. Oh, is he spun?
As he spun, they're still trying to push. And I was going to mention before that happened, we have Diogo Alberto, currently in second here in practice, who we lost in the start of the first race last time around. So I wonder, will he be able, looking at the times now, to maybe come in between them and we have a three-way fight today?
You're right, of course. Diogo had those technical issues, didn't he, at the start of round one, or race one at Watkins, which meant that he was unable to compete. And you're right, he was looking very quick. So he's another sure contender for the win today. Is that actually the top? You'd say, yeah, top 7 down to Sean Collins, who are within just over a second, which is quite a good field spread today. So a lot of people in the realms of a win today. What I found interesting is looking at Diego's brakes there, how much rear bias he's got. Looking at the brake disc just glowing on the rears and not the fronts there. So interesting to see. Of course, rear brake pressure does help in these cars because you tend to get a lot of front locking, but it's very difficult to drive, and you only see the real pro drivers being able to run that much rear bias. You see almost spins on the grass there. Just these drivers are pushing to the absolute limits at the moment. So Martin, do you think these guys are running some quali runs, or do you think they're more on high fuel race runs at the moment?
Oh, it's so hard to tell, but I do suspect them being on a high fuel run, just trying to push the extra limits. Some of them might have put a quali lap or two in because, well, we're coming up on quali here shortly. But as we, what a save there from Diogo.
What a save indeed. So Martin, if you were driving in this session, what would you be doing? Would you be prioritizing race runs or quali runs around here?
Honestly, I'd probably be throttling slowly on the track, but I'd do full fuel runs. I think just you get the most comfortability out of it because you know, I'm not the best driver. I would just want to feel comfortable more than anything.
I think that's important, and of course being comfortable in the car, and especially these cars that are so technical, is so important. So as we now tick down into qualifying, we get ready to set the grid for race 1. Keep on saying round, as we see our AM points leader Ivar van Krooijen going out, and the number 13 Backmarker Racing Gold car is quite an easy livery to spot on the grid. It's always nice when drivers have easy liveries to spot, especially for the commentators. And what actually I've not noticed this before, but his helmet matches very nicely with his livery there. So good coordination there, Eval. We talk to him today. We'll praise him for his color coordination as he tries to warm up his tires by having a lot of lock into that corner there. As we see a few drivers are coming out on track now. Let's have a look. So Diogo's come out. Everybody, all but 3 have actually left the pit lane. So that's David Glass, Jacob Money, and Stefan Jones are yet to come out of the pits. Of course, it's about 1.5 minute lap time around here, so you don't have to necessarily come out this early on. You can wait a bit and see if you can chance the track conditions are better. Maybe the track temp goes down a little bit. All the technicalities of racing in iRacing, and especially at this level, because this has been super competitive. But as we see Evat now building up for his lap in I'd quite like to watch this one on board, Martin. I think it's going to be quite an adventure round here, especially with these 500 horsepower cars that have no traction control or ABS. They are so hard to control, but so fun if you get them on the limit.
Yeah, and as you say that, this is technically a street circuit with the walls so close, you know, with a difficult car to handle. As you see him coming through a very difficult corner here with the wall of champions on the right. You know, it's they're on the limit, but if you go over it, it can cost you dearly.
Here we can, as we see, he comes down into turn 1 now, brakes just in that little bit of that the tarmac grab runoff there, as you see, into turn 2, or the Senna S's they were called. They were more called back when they before they moved to the pit entrance, but we'll call them the Senna S's today because it's kind of a cool name. Into turn 3 now, you can take a lot of curb on the entry here, but he has a little bit of understeer, tyres filling it up to temp, and you can run really wide on the exit of 4. Through turn 5, flat out here, as he can even changes up gear into turn 6 now. Trying to use as much room as he can on the exit. You have to say that Evout's not pushing that much yet. I think he's waiting for his tyres to come out to temperature as he gets loads of oversteer coming out of turn 7 there. What a tricky corner turn 7 is. It's off camber, you've got a lot of power to put down and not a lot of grip, and you're also having to put quite a lot of right-hand lock-in as he comes into turn 8 and 9 now. Fairly simple corner, but of course you can easily get caught out on the exit of turn 9. We saw Lewis Hamilton falling foul of that in, I think, practice in 2019. I think he got a rear puncture. Into turn 10, probably one of the best overtaking spots of this race today. Turn 10, nice, and it leads on to the second best overtaking spot of down the straight into turn 12 and 13 on my track map. This is turn 11. Agree or disagree if you will. I don't necessarily think it's a turn, but that's a whole nother debate which I'm sure we'll get into if there's not a lot of racing. Into turn 12 now on the brakes deep. Can he take a lot of curb? He can. A lot better through here than he was on his out lap across the line to go. I think he'll be the first person to finish his lap, so we shall see what lap time he produces. He goes to, unsurprisingly, the top of the timing sheets with a 1 minute 36.75, so not the quickest lap we've seen today, but I'm sure he was pushing, as Alex Gal unsurprisingly lighting up the timing screens at the moment. Although Diogo has actually got a purple in sector 2 and 3, so he's gone quicker than Alex Gal, and he goes to the top of the timing boards with a 1 minute 36 flat. But we have seen lap times quicker than that, so we'll have a look and see at our reigning or our current points leader, Alex Gal, who goes nearly 2 tenths quicker than Diogo, so a very very big margin there. So we'll see what happens on the second lap. Can David Glass dethrone Ivar van Krooijsen from Ampol? Let's have a look as he crosses the line. He does not. I wonder if he might have got a little bit of an off track on that lap, or maybe he's just starting his lap. Actually, he did come out kind of late. Jakob is coming across the line. He's going to go P8, so I think he's had some form of adventure on his first lap there, because that's more of the lap time that I think I could be doing around here, Martin.
Yeah, and I would try to beat you to get an even slower one. But yeah, he must have had some mistake at pushing so hard, because I know I think he has some personal beef now with Alex and really wants to beat them, and maybe that's causing him to push a little too hard.
You're right, of course. He had no. Or as we actually have a look at a replay here, so this is him coming out of the pits, and he's just going to understeer off and in the wall. So that's a reset. So that means, has he crossed the line yet? No, I think he's good, because I think if you might have lost a lap there, but I think he's good on that. So Ivar van Krooijsen has now completed his second lap, so he stays third. So he did not improve on his lap time. Let's see, can Diogo dethrone Alex Gal from pole position? No, he cannot. He goes slower. So he is about a tenth slower than he was. So he is at best going to start P2 today. Stephen Kershaw in AM, we haven't seen much of him so far. He crosses the line to do a 1 minute 38.3, so he will start P7 at best, and all eyes now go to Jakob as Alex Gal puts in a 1 minute 35.659, so he goes to the top of the timing stands for even more. So Jakob's got it all to do at the moment, and looking at his sector times, they are not that impressive, you have to say. He's about 4 or 5 tenths off Alex Gal through the first 2 sectors. We'll see if he can improve in the final sector, but I think he's going to be lucky to get even P5 here as he crosses the line. Where does he go? He goes up to P5. I'm not going to be proud of that, because I saw that. But he goes P5, so I think that's everybody qualifying has finished. So 2 people are yet to qualify. We've got 2 minutes to go, so they'll only be able to get one lap in, and that's Jacob Money and Stefan Jones. So we see Diogo Alberto doing a few more laps. Of course, you have 2 laps that count in qualifying, but you don't have to stop. They just won't count. So I know that some people like to do more laps instead of waiting, just to keep their eye in. Of course, it's always a bit dangerous though, because you'll get used to the car being on low fuel, and then when you put in those 30 odd litres of fuel, the car feels very different, and you end up having some difficulties. So we'll see if that happens to Diogo as he goes very close to the Wall of Champions on the outside there. But it would be interesting to know why both Jacob and Stefan have not qualified yet. Of course, one AM, one Pro. Jacob being the AM driver and Stefan the Pro. So we can say that actually I missed it, but David Glass has taken AM Pro there. So I do apologise, David. I was a bit caught up with Jakob's lab. So David Glass takes pole position. Another great qualifying for David. Evat's in second as we see Diogo getting it wrong at the exit of turn 4 there. So I'm sure he won't be wanting to do that in the race.
Yeah,
so,
not to confuse anybody, that's for the AM drivers there, the pole and second position of AM drivers, but of course not in the front row on the grid, so to say.
Thank you very much. Yeah, of course, for the AM. So Evat is second in AM. Simon Ziaka is in P3 in AM, even though he starts 8th overall. Stephen Kershaw is in 9th or P4. So 2 separate championships here. We've got the overall and then the AM standing. So all to play for with AM. So Evat is our championship leader, as we've been saying, in the AM class. So a good showing from him. But as we have about 10 seconds left of the qualifying session, and then we will bring you the grid and we shall bring you the action from race 1 as we're having a look at the championship standings on the screen at the moment. So Evat is quite far up ahead at the moment with 1,200 points exactly. There Will Money, who unfortunately has had to withdraw from the championship due to work commitment. So he is not going to score any more points, which is a shame to see, because Will has been super quick. But here is your grid for race 1. Alex Gall takes the pole position, as we've been saying. Diogo Alberto runs alongside him on the front row. David Glass takes the AM pole position, but it starts P3 overall. Evat is in 4th. Jakob, of course, the last winner in this race, starts in the championship even, starts P5. Jan Vitar starts 6th. Sean Collins is in 7th. Simon Ziaka is in 8th or 3rd in AM. Stephen Kershaw is in 9th. Stefan Jones is the first of the non-qualifiers, and Jacob Money is in P11, who rounds out the grid. But Martin, who's your bet for race 1?
Well, let's wait and see. I'm very excited, as I think we're about to ready to go here.
We are, as we have a look at the cars on the grid, everybody lining up, the sense of anticipation building by the second. As we have a look at all the cars on the grid now, all of those 500 brake horses are going to be unleashed in just a minute as we get underway. Let's, while we have a little bit of time, as we see the final car on the grid, so I think we won't have much longer to go as the lights now come on as we get ready for round 6, race 1 at Montreal. As all the lights are now on and we are underway, and it's a fairly even start for the front row. But actually, I lie. I think Diogo has got at least the better start, but Alex Gall is still going to have the run onto the inside. So we'll see as they go side by side into turn 1 at the moment. They're 3 wide there. David Glass has made contact with the number 23 car, of Jan Vitar. David Glass has dropped down the field. He keeps on dropping down. So another poor start from David Glass. He's spun. What absolute disaster for him, and you have to say that he's got an even tougher job to do than usual, because he's about 12 seconds off the pace. 10 seconds, I do apologise. But Diogo Alberto has taken the lead overall. What a great start, and that's Evat spinning. He's going to save it. No, he's not. He's held his brakes. He needs to hold his brakes, and there's going to be a crash, and that's Stephen Kershaw he's made contact with. And David Glass now needs to be very worried here. Please stay out of trouble. Or Stephen Kershaw, I think, was struggling with his car there. And what carnage at the start of the race, Martin. Did you see Evat now dropping down? He's got damage too, so our championship leader and in AM is out of the race, or at least back to the pit lane.
Yeah, and that is some heavy damage as we come back to the front of the race here with Diogo Alberto out in front, followed by Alex Gall and Jacob. So the 3 of the guys that we were mentioning before are already hard at going at it as we come to the back straight here.
As we are, and of course, slipstream's a factor now, so you can, if you're maybe not as quick through the corners, you can still gain some on the straight. So we'll see what happens, but Alex Gall looking very threatening behind Diogo at the moment. Diogo doesn't feel the need to defend into turn 12 and 13 at the moment as they come through to finish lap 1. of this 20-minute sprint race. You see Alex Gall actually going for a move. As I was talking about the 2011 Formula 1 race, it reminded me of Jenson Button and Lewis Hamilton going side by side through there. But Alex Gall's going to go clean around the outside of Diogo, and he's going to retake the lead. And Jakob wants in on this now. He does, you're right. He's now got the inside line for turn 3, and this is perfect for Jakob. He needs to try and pass Diogo as quickly as possible as we just go behind the trees there. Somehow Diogo manages to hold on to P2 there, but forces Jakob wide. But what an opportunity, missed it from Jakob there, Martin.
And Jakob almost lost it there. Very nicely held. I saw he had a big twitch on the exit of the corner, so very nicely held by him. But now I think Jakob and Diogo might have to start thinking about how much they want to battle and how much they want to let Alex Gall in front eke out the gap.
I think that's a very smart point. And if I was Diogo, I'd be happy with second, I think. But if you're Jakob, he's spun, he's hit the wall, he's got damage, he managed to keep on going. And that's Jan Vitar through into P3. Sean Collins is just lurking behind, but that's big damage for Jakob there. He just took too much of that inside curb there and just lost the rears on exit and hit the wall. As we have a look at the damage, that's quite a substantial amount of damage for Jakob. So in the space
talking about damage, Sebastian, we also have Stephen Kershaw, who's went into the pits previous lap, so something has happened to him as well. Hopefully we'll be able to see that later.
I think he was involved in that incident who's spun of his own volition, you'd have to say, coming out of around turn 5. So unfortunate for him. So we'll see. Of course, no fast repairs in this series, so if you get the damage, you are out. But Stephen Kershaw, crucially, has done a little bit more driving than Evout. So as it stands, Stephen's going to start from reverse control, and Evout's going to be 11th. So a lot of championship implications there. As back to the action on track, we see Jakub Madajowski has now got past Jan Vitar again up into P3. Sean Collins, though, is in P5 and wanting ever more of this bit of action as we see them go through turn 5 into turn 6, where Evout had that issue. Jan's a lot later on the brakes at the moment, but Jakob manages to keep a little bit tighter towards the apex and get a better run out. And now you'd say that Sean Collins has got the better run now, coming in to turn 8 as they head down under the bridge at the moment in this tricky braking zone, which is like grass always tends to catch me out on the outside of the corner there. So no spins yet. Of course, these drivers are much better than I could ever be, which is why I'm here and they're there. As we see them come down into turn 10, one of the best overtaking opportunities of this race. And Jan a little bit deep on the brakes there. As you see the rear brake disc glowing. I do love that effect, and they're about equal as they come out of turn 10 now into the I'm going for it, Martin, into the top corner that isn't a corner of turn 11. I've said it. I'll forever state my claim that shouldn't be a corner, but into what we'll call turn 12 under the brakes. As there's Alex Gall spun. Alex Gall's round. He's spun and he's reversing onto the track, and Sean Collins majorly had to avoid him there. That could have been so close to disaster, and Alex Gall has found himself going from 1st to 7th, and he might even be under threat from David Glass in 8th. What has happened? What has happened to Alex Gall?
Not a great day for our championship leader in overall, respectively, AM championship here. This might have some big repercussions here, with Diogo now leading with over 2-second gap in front as we're aboard here with Sean Collins.
As we have a look at Sean Collins, who's gone for the blacked out livery of the Backmarker Racing, of course makes it harder to spot him, but that just sounds a bit like Sean to me as we see his teammate. Oh, and Sean's and he's managed to keep it out of the wall. I think he's got a very minimal amount of damage, but Simon Zerkus now in the lead of AM. Alex Gall's going, well, that's one place that I might be able to get back. He's going to go diving down on the inside of turn 8 at the moment. I don't see much damage to the number 42 car of Sean, but Alex Gall, one position, but David Glass, who spun at the start, is suddenly thrust into 2nd place of AM, and so close from overtaking Sean Collins there, who made a mistake. So Stefan Jones, who didn't, it's Sean Collins gets very close to Alex Gall in the turn 10 hairpin as we go up against up through the straight into turn 11 and down towards the chicane of turns 12 and 13 as we have a look at these cars racing and slipstreaming. Who are they slipstreaming at the moment? So they're all behind Simon Zerka, who's in the lead of AM. I was him, I'd want to. Actually, I was going to say I'd want to let Alex and Sean through, but right behind him is David, and I think I wouldn't. Obviously, he's gone wide to let him through, so I think he's letting everybody through unless he's got a slow down. No, I think he's letting everybody through. Interestingly, Jan Vitar has now got the fastest lap of the race there, 1 minute 36.46. He was about a second quicker than our race leader Diogo on the last lap, as we see Sean Collins also getting past Simon Zerka, and David Glass trying to go up the inside of turn 3, but not quite able to make the move yet. But he'll get a better run out. Can he go around the outside of turn 5? I really don't think these cars have got enough downforce, but these drivers will try any move, and it's fair to say not on this occasion. Through 6 and then 7 on the exit. Watch for the exit. We've seen many drivers have issues here, not namely Sean Collins on lap number 4. 1 lap ago, but we see David Glass now catching Simon Zerka in the number 28 car, that blue and black liveried car. As we see, you have to say, David a little bit wide through turns 8 and 9 there. So he's given the advantage to Simon. He's not going to be able to make the move into turn 10 at the very least, but he might be able to get the slipstream up into the chicane. And all of the while, David Glass is just looking at him. He wants that position. We've seen how good David is at racing, how good he is at overtaking. But crucially for Jan Vitar, he wants past Jakob. He wants second. He wants the win. And you have to say, with his pace so far, he could have it, as we now look back at this battle for P6, 7 and 8 overall. But of course, more crucially, at least for the 2 drivers in the back, for the AM lead, as we see David Glass get very deep under brakes there. And
even
almost
locking up a little bit.
Right, I was so close to taking out Simon there. What? Oh, I thought I was going to see some more spinning there. Alex Gall, unsurprisingly, sets the fastest lap of the race, but he's quite far away from the leader at the moment, so he's not in contention for the lead yet. Of course, 12 minutes to go in this race, as we see David Glass in that onboard. I wish this was real life, because I love seeing the look in the driver's eye of that concentration, but I'm sure David is absolutely concentrating as much as he can at the moment, and must be determined to make amends for his, again, a poor start. But Sean Collins is not being able to pull away from this fight here, which is helping Simon and hindering David, because Simon still managed to get the slipstream off Sean. So it's an interesting dynamic, but Alex Gall is absolutely flying along at the moment. His next victim will be Stefan Jones, and I think, judging by the pace of Stefan versus Alex, I think it'll be a fairly easy move. I think if Stefan defends that, he'll be a little bit silly.
Talking about hunting down, Seb, we have Jan Vitar in P3, who's been closing to Jakob Masijewski, P2, and he was closing with almost two tenths a lap, but it seems like now he's just stuck behind for a few laps. So I think that will be very interesting. Maybe he's just taking caution, and as actually I see now Jakob Masijewski has gone off track. Maybe he has a slowdown, because I see very close here now. So will we see anything? Yeah, the slowdown has caused Jakob to come down to P3, and Jan Vitar up to P2, and he'll be very happy, because with the pace he's had, he's going to start pulling away here if Jakob can't do anything, and I don't think Jakob will be able to actually have the pace to stick with him from what I've seen.
I think you're right, of course, Jakob, with the damage. We see Alex Gall and Stefan Jones. We had a little bit of a glimpse of their fire on the straight, and I was for sure that Alex was going to get past, but not yet, as we have a look at the nose cam of Stefan. See, how much more grip Alex Gall has got at the moment to go through turns 6 through 7, the tricky exit, and he's just got so much better drive than Stefan. Is Stefan going to defend? No, he's not, so he's going to let Alex Gall have the inside. They're now side by side as they come into turn 8, as we see the battle for P2, and we wait for the battle for P4 and 5, and somehow Stefan Jones has managed to keep ahead, but you have to say that I don't think Alex Gall will be behind him for much more, as we head now down into turn 10, of course, where we had that horrific accident from Robert Kubica in 2007. No such incidents today, and you have to say somehow Stefan Jones is managing to stay ahead, and maybe we heard that Alex Gall was struggling with what wing to use here. Maybe he's got a little bit more wing on it than Stefan Jones, and maybe that's hampering his overtaking chances, as we see the battle for P2. Once again, Jakob really close to Jan Vitar in the number 23 car, and actually Jakob has got such a better exit coming out of turn 13 as we have a look at another guy that's got a better run out of turn 13. It's now side by side for the battle for P2. They're side by side. The 169 car of Jakub Maniszewski has managed to get down the inside of Jan Vitar, so they've swapped places once again. As Martin pointed out, that slowdown has not slowed down Jakub as much as we want, and as much as Jan would want, even as Jan has a little bit of a look upside the on the inside of turn 3 there, but to no avail.
And it seems like I was wrong, Seb, because now Jakub suddenly has sped up, and I wonder if he's starting to feel a bit more hungry. Because for a few laps, he was actually 2/10 slower almost every lap than Jan Vitar. But yeah, that will be very interesting to see how it pans out.
As we see a little bit of a disconnection issue there for Stefan Jones. I know he's been having some technical issues there, and this has given Alex Gall a great run down into turn 8 as we head under the bridge, braking a little bit later. Stefan Jones, can he make it to the apex? Yes, he can. See, Alex Gall has got so much more pace than Stefan as he gets a better exit, but Stefan somehow manages to have better drive coming out the corner. So Stefan's going to have the inside line into turn 10. They're now side by side there. They're almost the same, and Stefan Jones brakes a little bit earlier and lets Alex Gall pass. Will Stefan feel the need to try and overtake Alex, or will he just settle down as we see a lockup from Sean Collins in the background there into turn 10? Interestingly, Evout has come back out to the track. No, he's gone back in. So Stephen Kershaw's actually still running. I thought he'd retired from the race, but he's in P10. So crucially for him, he'll have... Oh, and that's... a very sorry sight to see there, Martin. That's not what you like to see for...
And that must not feel good, but I think maybe he just want to get the laps in, because, you know, you need I don't have the number in my mind right now, but you need to have a certain distance finished to be registered as a finisher of the race, and I think that's what he's aiming for at the moment and nothing else.
Oof. Did you see how close Jakub got on the exit of turn 4 there? Oh, that made me feel very nervous. As we have a look at the replay, of course, this was at the start of the race, as we see Evout just getting really wide, and he holds his brakes and he tries to save it, and he just keeps on holding his brakes and he holds his brakes.
Oh.
And unfortunately, Steve had just nowhere to go. What a shame. As we see then, Evout tries to continue but realizes the damage is just that bit too much. What a shame. We have a look at... Oh, so this is the spin for Alex Gall. Let's have a look. So he takes a lot of curb on both 1 and 2 and just simply loses it coming out of the corner. And that's such a shame for Alex. A very rare mistake for Alex Gall there. And he tries to reverse, and Sean Collins has to dodge around the outside of him there. How scary was
I gotta say, that was lucky no one got collected when he reversed, because that was very close. I'm happy to see everyone come out unscathed.
I'm with you on that. Of course, you always like to see drivers holding their brakes until a point when it's safe to rejoin, and when Alex reversed, I don't think it was necessarily the safest point to rejoin. But as we have a look at the battles, and what we have missed is David Glass getting back up into the lead of the AM standing. So David Glass is in 7th overall, but he won't care about that. He's P1 in his class, so he has made the last to first challenge come to work, as he had that spin at turn 1, and he's now chasing down Sean Collins. So Simon Circa in the number 28 car tried as hard as he could to defend from David, but it was to no avail. Is on lap number 10, or 50 minutes gone in this race. David Glass now leads again, and all he has to do now is keep it going, as we see Evout again, once again back out on track. Finishes, why not do some more practice? And that's quite a lot of steering damage you see there. You see the right front of the car, the wheel tracking out quite badly there. That must be quite difficult to drive, and I'm sure that he would probably not be enjoying driving that car. Or as he locks up a lot there, that's a very damaged car. We were talking about Steven's car. It's never nice to see a Porsche in that state. As we have a look at the battle again for P2, Jan's it's a little bit more off Jakub. Jakub's definitely found some pace, but they're still very close together, and you'd have to say that this battle will definitely go down to the wire, Martin. Who's been your driver of the race so far, would you say?
So far, I have to say Diogo. He's kept his cool, and he's been eking out in the lead, and I think, you know, he's just doing what a good driver does, and he just keeps on pulling now. So unless these two guys can find a bit more pace, I think he will stay out there. So that's very well. But I also gotta say, David Glass, once again, a stellar drive, and I think if he just did not have these mistakes that he keeps on having, he would be up there in these things as well. But we keep seeing these comeback drives from him rather than, you know, starting from the top and keep going. So I think that's something he will have to work a bit, but he's, again, doing a great race.
Oh, I had a little bit of content there. I think Jakob's actually hit the wall once again. That car will be resembling crisp kits by the end of it. He'll certainly need some to fix the car before round 2, and luckily in iRacing you don't have to pay for damages, and I'm sure if you did, the public lobbies would be a lot safer. But anyways, we have a look at Jan Vitar in P3 at the moment, the number 23 JD Sim Racing car, down into the braking zone of turn 8, over the curb into turn 9. Make sure you don't do what Jakob did at race 1 or lap 1, I think, or 2, when you too much inside curve and ended up in the wall and damaging the car. There's been a story of recovery drives, you'd have to say, from both Jakob and Alex David as well. So very interesting. And even not to mention Stephen Kershaw, who was involved in that incident. It wasn't his fault, but he's still out there lapping, and for his reward will be starting from the best spot in race number 2, of course, reverse grid, as we always say. As we have a look now, number 23 car is going to want to go around the outside. Can he make it? Jakob defends to the inside. This will give Jan a better run out, though. He'll get the switchback, although I think on this occasion Jakob manages to get just the slightly better exit. But all the time that they fight, all the time that Jan just shows a nose where Jakob isn't expecting, it just allows Diogo just to get that further ahead. They were hovering around 5 seconds to get last lap, but it's up to 5.6 now, so 6/10 Diogo is gained at the moment. He needs to keep it cool, and this will be a certain win, especially if these guys keep on fighting. As we have a look through turn 3 and 4, and look at these cars, look at how much these drivers have to work to get the pace out of these cars. These cars are difficult, of course. No traction control, no ABS. They're very difficult to control. Not as difficult as the 911, of course, is the 9 oh, I've forgotten the car names of this. It's the 992. Thank you very much. Porsche names are, even though they're really easy, I struggle with them.
Or we should say that's what they call, what iRacing call it. It's still the 911 GT3 Cup, but they call it the 992 just to be able to separate the two.
It's because Porsche are really good at naming cars. That's another discussion. Honestly, I feel more passionately about Porsche naming conventions than I do about Turn 11 in Montreal, and that's saying something. So, again, race 2, we've got a lot of talk as we have a look at Jacob Money, who is, we haven't really seen much of him at the moment. He didn't qualify, of course. I don't know if that was for any issues or not. And have a look at a replay of him locking up into Turn 1 at the moment. Just struggling. Just that little bit. Oh,
here we go.
Spin, he's locked the brakes, everything's fine. He's found reverse, found first, and off he goes. Oh, as he almost spins again, getting onto the grass there. We'll give him style points for the second slide. That was kind of cool, the slide. The spin, less so, but it's always good to find the limits. As we see, Jan Vitar has actually gotten past Jakob. So Jan Vitar is now up to P2, and I wonder where that's happened, Martin. Oh, is he slow going off the corner? I don't think he was, actually. Why don't you talk us through this, Martin?
We'll see it here. As we see the replay here, we will see it, I think maybe a slowdown there from Jakob Mazejewski, and just letting Jan Vitar through. So my bet is on a slowdown, maybe out of the last chicane.
How interesting. We think that might be his second slowdown of the race. So Jan Vitar is a Vitvar. I don't know how to say his name. We'll be talking to him later if he wants an interview as he's finishing P2. We'll ask him how he likes to pronounce his name, because pronunciations are not necessarily my greatest forte. But he is up to P2 now as we have a look at Diogo, our race leader. And the question is, has he got the white flag already? Will he get the white flag this lap, or will he get that as Martin Brundle says, that funny coloured bit of cloth? It's got black and white on it, but it means that you've become very popular, at least. You feel like you've become very popular as you win the race. As we have a look now, and we'll see if he's got one more lap to do, or if he's managed to survive 20 minutes of driving this Porsche car, and he will win, I think, his first race of the season. As he
checkered flag.
Got a checkered flag. So Diogo Alberto will win race number 1 at Montreal with a fairly decisive victory of 6.3 seconds. Jan Vitar will win will get P2, after coming after overtaking Jakob on the last lap. Unsurprisingly, Alex Gale comes 4th, Stefan Jones 5th, up It'll be 5 places from him, and we'll have a look at this battle now for 6th and 7th. David Glass will not get Sean Collins, but he will get the race victory. So congratulations to David Glass for another stunning recovery drive. And Simon Zerka comes across the line in 8th place, but 2nd overall. A very good race from him. And surprisingly, Jacob Money, I mean, for him, he must be surprised after having that spin that we saw, after not qualifying, and after, you have to say, struggling a little bit. He's going to get P3 here. So talk about being consistent. It always pays off. Jacob Money comes across the line in 3rd, and that's a very interesting way to cross the line there, Martin.
Yeah, and as we look through it here, we will see the results shortly. But look at that. It's very weird to see Alex Gal making these mistakes and be down in P4. Same with Eve out, who's down in P11 now. So a bit uncharacteristic, and we will have to ask them later what has happened and why that is. But I wonder, is the track challenging? Is it just the pressure of the championship that makes them push so hard? Take us through the result though, Sebastian.
So, as we were saying, Diogo Alberto wins for 27 Motorsport on the number 18 car. He wins by quite a decisive 6.371 seconds after Jan Vitar for JD Sim Racing. Jakub Andrzejowski won't be too upset with that after spinning on lap 1 coming out of turn 9, so he gets P3, and of course is ahead against his arch nemesis of Watkins. Alex Gal who's also had a spin coming out of the final corner, so he finishes 4th. And we come to the backmarker racing boys of Stefan Jones edges out Sean Collins, who takes the final road position, and then we have our AM drivers, and David Glass will take P1 in the AM class, so congratulations to David. Simon Zerka, who put up a very staunch defence, but unfortunately couldn't keep David behind for the entire race. So he finishes P2, still a great result for him. Jacob Money's in 3rd after not qualifying, so very good recovery from him after we even saw him have that little spin out of turn 1, but no damage caused. Stephen Kershaw unfortunately finishes 4th after having that incident with Evout after Evout spun on lap 1, but credit where credit's due to Stephen. That car did not look fun to drive, so completing the race is really nice to see and should be commended. And Ewout van Kroijsen, our AM championship leader, comes across the line in 11th overall, so will not get the reverse grid place. He will start 11th, and he will not be classified as he was 8 laps down. But as warm-up starts now,
should we have a talk with Diogo, our race winner?
I think we should. Why don't you bring him in, Martin?
Yeah, I sure will. Then Diogo, a dominant win. How does it feel?
I feel so good. It was a perfect start for me, and then I lost a bit of time with the fight with Mashowski, but then Alex Gal spin, and then I just tried to keep the car on track to the win.
Yeah, and you kept your cool and you really pulled out a great leader. Now, how do you feel going into the next race with the reverse grid and everything? Are you nervous, excited? Tell us.
I'm a bit excited. I will try to keep it clean, but I will fight and try to go to the top 3 at least.
Yeah, and we're happy for that. So again, good luck in the next one, and very well done. We wish you as good of a race coming up. So yeah, good luck in the feature race.
Thank you.
All right. So as the warm-up is just getting underway, we have a special guest for you, the viewers at home. Joining us tonight is the league organizer, Martin Pearson. We're just going to allow him to join the broadcast. Of course, he doesn't have permission to do that. Only we do as commentators. Good evening, Martin. Of course, you've joined here because you have some important information regarding the future of ISRC and its championship as announced on Saturday.
Indeed, I do, sir. We just want to reiterate to any viewers out there that didn't catch the announcement on Saturday on Twitter or on the endurance broadcast stream done by Total Sim Sport, we've taken the heavy-hearted decision to close down ISRC at the end of the year once the Porsche Championship and the Endurance Championship have been completed. A few projects and various things going on in personal lives of the main organisers of ISRC due next year, so we felt that we weren't in a position to support the championships in the same standard as we've as our competitors have become accustomed to. So we thought, yeah, now's the time to go out with our heads held high and some pride in our belly, as it were. So yeah, that's in short, that's the news, I guess.
Yes, of course. It was. It's never nice to hear, but it's good to see that you're taking the mature approach of ending on a high and not letting it the league sort of die off, and that's always worse. So commendable from your side, but I know from all of us and all the viewers and all the racers, that it's sad because we've enjoyed watching and participating and being a part of ISRC. So from us, thank you very much. And sorry it has to end, but there's no time better than the present. So we'll hope for better races to end off.
Yeah, looking forward to the end of the seasons. I mean, Hungaroring and Spa to close out this season for the Porsche Cup Championship will be fantastic. And I believe one of those races, I think the Hungaroring is the longest form race, so it'll be double points for a 40-minute race, so that should be a good watch. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to race in it, but I do intend to be at the final round of ISRPC, so close out the final event of ISRC organisation, which would be nice. It's been good, the feedback that we've received. It's been nice that people will miss it, and because we certainly started off with not really much of a clue of what to do. We knew what we wanted, but we didn't quite know how to get there, and we've slowly developed over time to a fairly stable set of rules and organisation. So it's been really good, and the feedback of people really enjoying what we do has been it's really good. And I should mention to our viewers out there that there will be a little bit of money left over in the ISRC pot from the end of the two championships, and that will be donated to charity. We have a poll that our competitors can take part in and nominate a charity of their whether they're associated with it or it means something special to them. So we'll allow our competitors to vote on those in a short while, and that will be, I'm hoping to announce that on the Endurance Championship stream at Suzuka. So to close out ISRC, we'll donate the rule books that we've developed to the community as well, just to try and do something over the last 18 months, contribute positively is all we try and do.
I think that's again super commendable, and yes, the rule book will be made available, which is quite a substantial rule book, and it's held up to a lot of interesting incidents, we shall put it. So commendable for that as well. But yes, it's sad, but it's always good to, as I said, to leave on a high. And there'll be no bigger high than Hungaroring for the Porsche Cup and Spa, which I'm ever looking forward to. And that will be the final race. And you're right, Hungaroring is 40 minutes, so it's going to be interesting, especially because it's a new track, and I don't think I've raced on it in iRacing yet, so I'll be interested to see how the drivers handle it.
Yeah, it's going to be a great challenge for them, I think. I've seen quite a bit of racing on the iRacing platform there since it got launched not long ago. It's a good circuit. Well, I'll leave you boys to it. Enjoy your race too. I'll be watching from the grandstand, as it were. The reverse grid is always a good one, and see what Alex Gall can do in this race, eh?
Indeed. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for joining us, Martin.
Cheers, guys. Enjoy.
So, Martin, not that Martin, but the other Martin. Martin, what did you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I have this little sad feeling inside of me. ISRC, of course, I race in the Endurance Championship. I do a lot, help a lot with the Porsche Challenge as we have here. Of course, I sit here and commentate with you. So for me, it's everything a big investment. I spend at least a little part every day, just checking in, maybe doing some small job, or at least reading through the chats and whatnot. So it's a little part of me that I feel sad to see it go. But big props to the organizers. It's, I think, for me, the best league I've been in so far. That's also why I'm so invested in it. So, yeah, big props to them, and on to new adventures.
Yeah, I would echo the sentiment completely. Yeah, I'm sad as well, but it's always good to end everything on a high, and there's been some leagues in some things in life that you can drag out until it's no longer fun, and it's always better to remember the good times. So, interestingly, I've had a little bit of a message from one of the drivers, unsurprisingly, Stefan Jones, who has told me that he can't see, which is why he was doing poorly. I would like to say that sounds like an excuse, and he should just put on his glasses. Of course, interestingly, as we get into the final bits of warm-up, a lot of people have different ways that they use iRacing. Of course, you can have your screens. You can have 3 screens if you're feeling particularly fancy. You can also have a VR headset if you're feeling really fancy. So lots of different ways that people access iRacing and use the simulator, but of course it can have its own technical issues, and you might not have mechanical failures within the car in iRacing, but you certainly have mechanical failures with your equipment. I know that I have had quite a few. But as we go back to the race, we have our grid for race 2. Stephen Kershaw is our reverse grid pole sitter, and Jacob Money is alongside him. Simon Zerkas in 3rd, and our AM winner from race 1, David Glass, is 4th. Sean Collins is the first of the pro teams in 5th. Stefan Jones, who totally can see, is in 6th. Alex Gall is in 7th place for VRS Satellite. Of course, after that spin, our championship leader will be interested to see what he can do. Jakob is in P8 for the 169 carbon SimSport car. Jan Vitar is in P9, the number 23 JD Sim Racing car. Diogo, our race winner, is in 10th. And Ewout van Krooijten, our AM championship leader, is in 11th and last. So he'll have a lot to do if he wants this AMP championship to be wrapped up today, but I think it's pretty much impossible at the moment as we see them revving up as the lights go out, and the lights are all on as they're held for a long time and they get underway. And you have to say that Stephen Kershaw got a good start there. There's contact in the background there. I think Stefan Jones is disconnected there, and he spun out, so David Glass has spun him. So David Glass has had another difficult start there, so he's down to the back of the grid. We'll have to watch what happens there. Stephen Kershaw still remains the leader overall. Jacob Money is in 2nd. Alex Gall has popped up to 3rd though, so really good start from him. Diogo Alberto is currently our race winner, is in 5th at the moment. Having a look at Jakub Manajaski is in P4, but they've all line astern at the moment. Alex Gall looking very rapid, trying to get past Jacob Money as quick as possible. They're side by side through turn 5 at the moment. No such incidents as in race 1 though. And Jan goes around the outside of Simon Zerka there. And can he keep it? He cannot. So Jan is up to P7 now as we see Diogo ever racing. Oh, and Alex Gall has dropped down the field there. So something's happened to Alex at the moment. So just to inform you at the moment as we actually see even more battling. So Stephen Kershaw is the leader. Jacob Money is in 2nd. Then it's Jakob in 3rd. Diogo 4th. Alex Gall 5th. Sean Collins 6th. Jan Vitar 7th. Simon Zerka 8th, Ewout up to 9th, David down to 10th, and Stefan in 11th. As we see Will Money get very deep on the brakes there, and he's going to let one car through, and they're now side by side with Alex Gall. Diogo has now dropped down to P5. They are swapping and changing positions all over the shop at the moment. Sean Collins is going to be looking at this, hoping that he can get some more positions as they're now side by side. We're on board with Alex Gall at the moment as they head towards the final chicane. Will Money just lets him go. So Alex Gall's up to 3rd. Jakob's up to 2nd. Stephen Kershaw's still in the lead. Diogo needs to get past Jacob Money very quickly if he wants this shot at this win. And he is following Alex Gall through. Will Money wants the inside place though. He's going to try it on the inside. He breaks a little bit later. He's now, and that's Sean Collins going very wide around the outside there. Almost going off the track, but Diogo Alberto is now up to P4. He's got past Jacob Money and he's now can focus on the cars up ahead. As we see there's a little bit more scrapping in the background. This is Simon Zerka at the moment. It's in the background there, but there's a spin. Jacob Money spun. Sean Collins is off. Somehow there's no more damage there, and they all continue. But what a start, Martin!
Yeah, and it is crazy. I'm a bit sorry to see the start going as it will, but looking at it now, of course, except for Jacob Money, who just had that spin with, so everyone has more or less got up to the field again, which is nice to see. And what battles we will see here. Jacob.
Oh, Diogo's wide. Sorry to cut in there, Martin. He somehow manages to keep it out of the barrier, but he was so close to losing it there, and he's going to let one, if not two cars through there. What's going on with this start? And they're side by side. Oh, and Diogo's going to stick it down the inside. He needs to keep it towards the apex, and somehow he does in the 247 car. That Stephen Kershaw has now dropped down. So Stephen Kershaw, that was leading at the start of this lap, if you remember correctly, he's down to 5th now. So what all was this going on?
Sorry to kind of, but look at David Glass now. He's weighing his way all the way back up to P7 after all of that.
He has an ev-outs down to P8 at the moment, but this is the battle for the lead. This seems familiar from Watkins. You'd have to say, though, that Alex Gall's had a little bit more pace, but a little bit less consistency. It's Ewout van Krooijen's dropping down the field. He's been passed by both of his teammates, in Sean and Stefan, so Ewout down to 10th. Really not a good round for him in terms of championship points, but we watch this battle for the lead intently. Alex Gall, 4/10 quicker on the last lap as Diogo Alberto now gets past Jan Vitar, and so Diogo up to P3, of course, had that mega moment in the turns 8 and 9 complex, so to get an overtake at the end of that is fairly impressive, but he will have to hope that these two will hold each other up so he can close down the 2.8 second gap that Diogo has towards these the top two as we have a look at this mega battle. So that's Jan, Stephen, Simon and David all separated by less than a second. That's exactly what we like to see, and that's Jan going very slowly, so I think he's got some form of slowdown. I think he has indeed. Is he if you don't know, if you're new to iRacing, slow down means that you've cut the course and you have to give back the time again, so you have to go in and be a little bit slow offline, hopefully offline. That's the preferred way of doing it. I have been in some...
As we see Jacob Money as well last lap, just want to mention that it probably got some damage and has been in the pit now for a bit.
Of course, I'm trying... Oh, Jacob, of course, spun. I'm trying to remember. There's been so many things happening, but Alex Gall wants this lead. He wants the points. He wants the victory. And Jacob, I'm sure, will not let him have it, at least not without a fight. So Alex goes to the outside, but Jacob cuts across very late there. It's very on the edge, you'd have to say there. Let's hope that they will keep it clean, because their battle was so clean in Watkins Glen, so let's hope that they can continue. Dogo's still dropping back a little bit from this pair, so they've not necessarily started to really hold each other up yet, as Jakob actually sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1 minute 36.378 tenths quicker than the driver behind him, as we see David Glass going for a very opportunistic move into turn 1 there on the number 28's Porsche of Simon Zerka there. Very interesting to see. That's a bit of a, I'd say, a half-hearted tackle from David there. Always very easy to get a little bit of damage there. He didn't seem like he was really intending to make the move, and they're always the most dangerous, as we see Alex going a little bit wide. He does tend to have a wider line through here, but I think that was more of a wide moment than it was an intentional line there, as Jakob now has a little bit more of a gap. But we have a look. The number 8 car, of course, made contact with Stefan Jones earlier on in the race. We'll have to see what happened there, or talk to the drivers later on, because he's definitely carrying a little bit of damage there, but he's in with a shout again of the double. He might get 2 wins here, so keep an eye on him. Of course, the master of recovery drives. And again, another poor start for David, Martin. We might have to buy him a clutch paddle for Christmas.
We might have to. Sadly, I don't think it was his fault this time around, though. With the incident we had there with, I can't remember now, it was Stefan Jones, I think, yes. So, unlucky. It seems like, I was going to say just in the start, David, it seems like he's been practicing his starts a bit, because he had some good pullaways today, and then, unfortunate, but that's racing.
It is, as we see this battle. So, Jan wants to get past David. They're side by side into turn 12. 13 through the wall of champions. Jan somehow managed, is still behind David Glass as they head up the straight at the moment. They're going to go 3 wide at the moment. They're 3 wide heading down. Jan sensibly backs out of that one, wants to live for another day, and I agree with him. David Glass is going to go around the outside. The 28 car spun. He got unsighted on the curb, and that's 2 places, 3 places, 4 places. Is he going to lose? No, he's not. Yes, he is. It's going to be 4 places. Eval and the number 13 Backmarker Racing gold car there is going to get down the inside into turn 3. And interestingly, what I was going to mention before that all kicked off is that there was a Backmarker Racing battle, and somehow Stefan, from being last, is coming to first in that battle. He's up to P7, Eval in 8th, and Sean in 9th. So the Backmarker Racing battle is ferocious at the moment, but they are living up to their name of being backmarkers. As we have a look at again, Jan Vitar is wanting past David Glass into turn. This will be 8 at the moment. Can he get him on the brakes? No, he can't. Sorry, that was turn 8. This is turn 9, and David Glass goes very wide, and this is the perfect opportunity for Jan to get him under braking into turn 10 and get the long run the straight into turns 12 and 13, and that's a very easy move for Jan. So he is back up to P5 after having what we think is a slowdown. So bit of a recovery drive again from him, but just to keep you updated, the battle for the lead still ever tight, between about 3/10 between them at the moment. Jakob still. How much curb do they take through there, Martin? I winced when I saw how far the Jakob's car bounced up in the air.
Yeah, but it's with these cars, they can handle it, and I think they almost need to keep their pace up. This battle, though, look at it. It's deja vu from last time around, but I wonder how long can they keep at it. Looking at Diogo, though, he's just have not got the pace this time. So I wonder, have these guys maybe, I'm not sure how much they're allowed to, but change their setups in between the races. I know they talk to each other about the setups, so I wonder, have they done something? Have they changed something?
Very interesting thought, of course. No restrictions. You can change the setup as much as you want. So maybe they've found the problem that they were struggling with in race 1 and have fixed it. But we see Stefan Jones again disconnecting there. Of course, one of the idiosyncrasies of sim racing, of course, you have a disconnect. You don't tend to see that in real life. If you do, then you need to call somebody, because that's very scary. David Glass is in 6th at the moment, watching this battle for 5th and 4th. Stephen Kershaw somehow up to 4th after all of that craziness. He started on pole position, reverse grid pole, so he will be very happy to still be in 4th and leading the AM race at the moment. Jan Vitar was not racing him in the AM Championship, but would like to get past him for the overall points, as we see Jan getting a little bit of a better run coming out of the corner, deciding to take a little bit more speed through the corner rather than necessarily hitting the apex, and that will serve him well coming down the straight. As we see, he's now in the slipstream of Steven. They head down into turn 12 now. Will he pull out to the inside? He will. This will be a fairly easy move as long as Jan breaks a little bit later. They break fairly even, so I think that Jan's going to have this move done. Yes, he is, and that's fairly a textbook move. David Glass is going to try and go around the outside, and he's going to be nudged between the wall of champions there. Stephen Kershaw's now got to defend from Stefan Jones as well, and Ivo van Kruijsen. They're 4 cars separated by less than a second at the moment. Oh, and Stefan's disconnected, and he's reconnected, and he's taken out David Glass and Stephen Kershaw. What disaster! That's twice there. As Stefan and David have made contact. What absolute heartbreak for them. They were racing so well, and I think is that Stephen Kershaw with a little bit of damage there, but that's amazing for Ivo. Somehow he's in the lead of the race, all because of his teammate. What disappointment for David Glass there, Martin.
Yeah, and I really feel for him. I think that's gonna be a Stewart's decision maybe later on. It's sad to see. It's not what we like to see. It happens, of course, but yeah, it's not something I'm very happy to see. I feel very sorry for David because he was doing so well.
We do too. We'd like to point out that, at least from the stream, it looked like a little bit of netcode, a little bit of disconnection, which is not inherently the driver's fault. So no blame, I think, could be apportioned to Stefan at this point. But of course, stewards will have more camera angles, more views, and they are much smarter than I am at the moment. Anyway, battle for the lead still rages on. One affected by the turn 1 accident. What are you going to say, Martin?
Yeah, I've been looking at these two guys for a while now, and they go closer, and then they eke out. As Alex had a little look, I think Alex is just being patient, because I see the times go down as to little as under a 10th, but then it increases again. He just doesn't really, he doesn't send it, so to say. He's staying behind, and I think he's just waiting for the opportunity. As we've seen him doing so many times before, it's just Alex Gal's style, I think, to just sit behind and wait for the opportunity, because if you don't have to risk it, why?
I think you're right. We saw this at Watkins Glen. They were battling on the last lap, and I think they'll maintain that again. Interestingly, Stephen Kershaw's got down to P9 now, and he lost a lot of time, so I think he's had a little bit of a track excursion. Of course, he was involved in that incident, so I'm surprised if he didn't have any damage. That incident reminded me a little bit of Felipe Massa and Sergio Perez in 2015 there. I think it was on the second to last lap of the race, and very similar, and I think David even ended up in pretty much the same spot. So heartbreak for both of those drivers who were doing so well in the AM category, but we'll move back to the racing that's happening on your screens at the moment. Alex Gal looking very racy at the moment behind Jakob in the 169 car at the moment, but Alex Gal wants this position. We've been saying about he's playing it safe and waiting, but he doesn't have that much longer to wait. Only 6. I'm going to do some very quick maths. About 6 minutes and 15 seconds to go. Maths is not my strong suit, especially on the fly as we head into the braking zone now. Final chicane. We saw obviously the 4 wide moment earlier. No such issues at the moment for these two. Got a 3.5 second gap to the car behind, so they can afford to race. And we see again Jakob deciding to defend on the inside, weaving all over the place. He's entitled to do that. We saw that happening at Watkins, and he certainly favours that. And their lap times were so close together. We see Alex Gal getting ever closer to Jakob through the slow right-hander of turn 2 into turn 3 at the moment. They're so similar drivers. It's amazing how closely matched these two are, and they get ever close to the wall on the exit. They're pushing the absolute limits of these cars into turn 6. Of course, turn 5 is that flat-out corner. We saw Evout have that problem in race 1, who is now our race winner and very close to his teammate Stefan Jones. Have a look again as they come out of turn 7 into turn 8. This lovely bridge section. Let's have a look at another battle. This is the Evout and Stefan battle. I think Evout will be wanting to give Stefan A wide berth, and B, a beer. Oh, and he's disconnected again. So definitely having some form of connection issue today. Again, as we were saying, if you experience this in real life, please seek some form of help as we look through the chicane of T10 through the kink that isn't a corner, but the next one will be, because I guess why not? As we see Evout making a move down to the inside into turn 10 at the moment. He's going to brake a little bit late, and he's trying to get the switch back at the moment, but Stefan's gone very late. This is going to be a great opportunity for Evout to make the move. What were you going to say, Martin?
I was going to say that Alex Cal had a much better run out actually there from turn 10-11, but it seems like he just backed off a bit. But looking at this battle, well, I think there was a miscommunication. I wonder if one of them wanted to let the other through, and then, yeah, I'm not sure there, but yeah, a bit uncomfortable probably for you out now with Stefan, who's had those small blinks in and out, and I think maybe that's why he's also a bit extra careful when trying to overtake here.
What an interesting idea. Team orders. Can team orders even be a part of ISRPC? Maybe we need some Fernando are faster than you messages at the moment.
Yeah, let me just correct. I don't mean team orders at all. I just mean maybe Stefan knows about his issues. Maybe he's thinking, I don't want to be in anyone's way anymore because there's always been accidents. You know, I don't think it has to do anything with the team itself to do.
I'm okay with allowing team orders in. I think it makes it very interesting as we have a look at Alex Gal once again very close to P1. He wants this win, he wants this victory, he wants to make amends for race 1, of course, where he was in the lead and he spun, but he's still got it all to do. And you have to say that the person that he would find hardest to overtake on the grid, at least today, judging by the pace, is this man in P1, Jakub Madajowski in the 169 car. Alex Gal has got a much better exit coming out of turn 10 though. You have to say that Jakub got really squirrely on exit there. This is going to be the perfect opportunity for Alex Gal. What's going to happen? Jakub's going to defend to the inside. Alex Gal's going to have to go all the way around the outside if he wants to. And boy, does he want to. They're going to go side by side into the braking zone. Who's going to come out on top? Somehow Jakub still manages to do, but Alex Gal's going to get the better run through the chicane now. They come across the line to start lap 11 of the race, but Alex won't care about lap 11. He'll care about the P1 that will be beside his name if he can manage just to overtake Jakub. But again, he'll have to wait at least one more lap. Wow, that was super close. I can't believe that Alex didn't manage to do that there. Jakub is so good at defending, and I still think that Alex might be running a little bit more wing than Jakub there. Even
I think so. I was looking at their top speeds, and while in the draft, in the toe, of course, Alex had plenty more speed, but they came to the end of the straight, it wasn't too different actually, top speed. So I wonder maybe he just has a little bit more wing, but I also wonder if he's just not a little bit extra careful. He had those incidents last time around and he can't afford anymore. So I think as I said before as well, I think Alex Gal is just playing the waiting game, and we're coming up to the last few minutes here, and I think soon enough we'll see him trying to pull a bit more dangerous moves.
I think we will, of course, the clock tick down, as Martin rightly points out, as they come through turn 11 again. Jakob prefers that wider line. I was talking about Alex wanting the wider line, but Jakob's on another level of wide lines through turn 10. As we see, again, line of stern coming through. You have to say that there. Alex is just a little bit further behind at the moment. And Alex really needs that inside line. He needs to surprise Jakob by sending it up the inside at the moment. And Jakob again moves very late under brakes to claim his racing line. But Alex has got a much better run now than Jakob through the final corner. Jakob is going to defend to the inside again, but Alex is going to go around the outside. We've seen the outside work around here quite often at the moment. Who will dare brake later? They're going to brake side by side. They're still side by side at the moment. And Alex has to back out once again, but Alex is putting more and more pressure on Jakob minute by minute. Diogo is also catching a little bit. Going back to the top speeds, while we have a little bit of a break in at least the overtaking opportunities on the circuit, Martin pointed out a really interesting stat. So Alex, it's changed a little bit actually. So Alex's top speed is 262 Ks. But somebody else who's been in the draft is Eval, and we've seen him in the draft. He's up to 265 Ks. So definitely running a little bit more wing there.
Yeah, and I think if you compare Jacob's top speed compared to Alex, considering Jacob has not been in the as he has a big slide there. Look at the chance now for Alex Gal. They go side by side into T10. How will they come out of this one?
They're still side by side into the braking zone. Nothing between them at the moment. Jakob's he wants the inside line. Alex wants to get the switch back, which he has, and Jakob's got so loose out of the corner. But crucially, Alex Gall has had to lift off just that little bit to make sure he doesn't run into the back of him. And somehow, Jakob's still in the lead. He just needs to hog that inside line. He needs to defend that inside line as much as he can. And they're still side by side as they come into the braking zone of turn 12. Into this hairpin. Jakob is still ahead somehow. I keep on saying somehow, but oh my god, I can't believe that Alex didn't get the move on there. And they're now across the line to start lap number 13. This was the final lap of the race. They have one more chance. They have one more opportunity, one more braking into turn 10, one more braking zone into turn 11 to get the move. And Alex must be wanting this win more than ever. And you have to say that it looks like Jakob's really feeling the pressure at this moment, Martin.
Yeah, definitely, and as we still see Alex are putting some pressure on, I think they're just pushing so hard as they're sliding around the corners here. I think Alex just has a little bit more stability in his car, and I think maybe we'll see Jakob just make a little more errors. And look how late Alex Gal brakes there.
It's super late. I was almost expecting a Sebastian Vettel-Jensen Button moment into turn 6 there, but alas, not at this moment. Not in this series of the ISRPC, as we see through turn number 8, number 9. Alex had to lift a little bit there, so Jakob will have the position. Eval has also got past Stefan Jones, so Eval is not only going to win the AM as it stands, but he will also finish P5 overall. Alex Gal brakes late as he possibly can. He needs to do it. He needs everything. He needs to hope and pray to anybody that will listen if he wants to get past Jakob, and he will need the inside line. Almost definitely he will need the inside line if he wants to move, but I'm sure Jakob will be well aware of this at the moment. Alex is gaining even more the speed he's got. He's going to have to go for the outside, but he's broke a little bit early. His only hope is that Jakob makes a mistake on the final corner, but he won't, and they are going to come across the line. Jakob's going to win round 2. A superb drive from him, a superb drive from Alex Gal, who will have to settle for second. Diogo, our race winner, will come third, so he'll get a double podium. Jan Vitar will cross the line in a minute for 4th, and our third place man in race 2 will have to settle for 4th. Our AM win goes the way of Eval after benefiting from that incident. Stefan Jones is in 6th place after causing a few incidents, so I will be surprised if he doesn't drop down the order just a little bit more. Sean Collins is in 7th. Simon Zerka gets P2 in class in 8th. Stephen Kershaw will get 3rd after again being involved in that incident that saw him drop down the field. But a stunning drive throughout, and Stephen will be our last car to cross the line.
What a race we had again between Alex and Jakob, and I am just so nice to see these guys race. It's nice and clean, and yeah, very nice and clean. So we have some pictures we don't really want to see here. But yeah, nice and clean racing between them, and very fair. as Eve out here celebrating his win. I'm very happy
Well,
for him. With
well-
better race this time around, huh?
Yeah, we'll commend Eve out for creating the smoke, so we didn't have to see that ludicrous display there. So you're right, Eve out had such a better race than race 1, but you'd have to say he got lucky. He definitely got lucky, as we can have a look at a replay and we can see the infamous moment. Actually, thought we were going to see the replay there. Not quite, but we'll hopefully, if we've got it, we'll show you the move where Eve out managed to take the lead in Am. But as my voice starts to recover, we can reflect on the amazing race as we see again Stefan Jones disconnecting a lot, as he'll certainly have to get that fixed. And so he's disconnected once again. I think he also got very loose. It's hard to see there, but it looks like he got very loose on the exit of turn 9. We have a look at Eve out following into turn 10. And we saw these drivers go line astern throughout the race. And then Eve out was playing it safe. And maybe the team manager should have been stepping in here and maybe suggesting that they swap roles there. I know that if I was the team manager, I would certainly be doing that.
Yeah, and I think these two guys might have a talk later. Just maybe not. I don't think team orders, but maybe just to discuss what happened and so on.
Yeah, maybe more of a gentleman's agreement, but Stefan clearly wanted the position, but Eve out managed to win out overall. And after that amazing race, and we actually have a little bit of controversy here. Alex Gall, he's just put in the Discord, I'm going to get reported for that start. What start is he talking about, Martin? Because
I don't know. I was hoping we would get some results of this feature race. But I think maybe we will see that start right now.
Oh, so it wasn't Stefan disconnecting. Alex Gall squeezed Stefan Jones to the inside.
Oof. And that will be interesting. So we'll see what the stewards have to say about that. They usually have their meeting a day or two after. So in a little while we'll see. But yeah, for now, Sebastian, please take us through the results.
So Jakob takes the win of race 2 of round 6 at Montreal. Alex Gall is in second. Diogo Alberto in third. He rounds out a very good week. I keep wanting to say weekend. It's not. It's a week. A very good day of racing for him. Win and a podium. Jan will have to settle for 4th, but still a great race from him. Eve out takes the AM win again, so we'll be extending his championship lead. Stefan Jones is in 6th after clearing his name at least on one of the incidents that he was involved in. Sean Collins is in 7th. Simon Zerka will come through for P2 in AM. Stephen Kershaw will get 3rd after, again, that incident. David Glass will be unable to finish the race after being involved in that incident at turn 1 that Stephen was also involved in, and Jacob Money will finish 11th and also not be classified after a few issues. So we have a look. Of course, these results are, of course, provisional, subject to any stewards' decisions that might happen. Of course, they will be announced within the Discord at a later date. But we have some people that want a few interviews. Martin, why don't you take it away?
Okay, and we will start with Diogo. So, Diogo, welcome back. Another podium position, P3 this time around. Did it feel as good, or did you feel you were lacking pace compared to the guys in front this time?
No, I feel really good because I set a target. It was at least P3. I did it, so I'm really happy because the track was so slippery. So I'm really happy to keep the car on track, and I did the P3. So
yeah, and coming back from last weekend where there were some issues, I think technical issues for you, it must feel pretty good to come back and have such a strong weekend.
Yeah, my PC just froze the last weekend, so yeah, I'm really happy to come and did a win and a P3. I'm really happy, really happy.
And is there any special takeaways from today? Anything you think extra happy about? Any special corner or overtake or so on?
And I think I happy with all the race. I think I did a great job.
Yeah. So thank you very much, and yeah, again, great job. You looked splendid both races, and I gotta say, I am very happy for you to come back from a very poor weekend, sadly, last time around, to come back and showing how strong you are. So, again, congratulations and well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations again. Brilliant drive from you. Both
Thank
races.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and Sebastian, what do you think? Should we take in our latest AM winner, Ewout van Koosen?
I think there was a question that I was going to ask him. I'll just have to refer to my notes, but you bring him in and you chat to him. Of course, our winner for race 2.
Ewout, welcome. With a not as a fun race in Heat 1, in the race 2, much better. How do you feel?
Feel pretty good. I had a PC issue in race 1. I skipped two or three frames in the corner and hit the wall. Nothing to do about it, but race 2 was pretty good. Had a slowdown in the second lap, so that fucked me a bit.
Oh, yeah, and apologize for the language there, but yeah, you did a little bit last to first in the AM class. Very stellar drive. Anything in particular you take with you that made you feel so good and strong in this second race?
I don't know. It was just fun driving with the 3D backmarkers cars, and Stefan was blinking all over the place, so I was scared to overtake him.
Yeah, we saw that and discussed it a bit. You had a little moment with him into turn 10, the hairpin, where you were behind, and I think he was going a bit wide, maybe letting you through, but you didn't really want to go through. Was that due to him blinking, or was that just a miscommunication? Or can you talk us through it?
Yeah, it was the blinking. I was just leading the AM race, so I was just like, go ahead, I'll just follow you. Don't let the crash out because of a blinking issue.
And do you think he wanted to let you through, or do you think he was just going deep there?
I think
because we discussed the team orders, no team orders. Do you think you guys will talk about this afterwards?
No, we already did, but
yeah,
his car was also pretty damaged after the start.
So, of course, you drive for the same team. Will you be talking to the team manager for maybe implementing some team orders for the next round?
No, I don't talk to the team owner. He's not a nice guy.
Thank you, Ewout. Of course, if anybody's watching that doesn't know, I'm part of Backmarker Racing, and yes, so it's no conflict here. But Ewout did a very good drive today, especially a lot better after your first race. What happened at turn 5?
In race 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the known ISRPC issue, where it just blinked for 1 or 2 milliseconds, and I turned in, and then it started blinking. So I didn't know where the wall was, and then I hit the wall.
Oh no! So 2 Backmarker Racing blinking issues today. What an absolute shame.
Yeah, it happens. At least race 2 is good.
You have to thank Stefan for taking out most of your competition there.
I'm so sorry for David. He was driving so good this race.
He was, and it was action packed, but well done for coming through and driving very sensibly.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you, Ewout.
As we round down this race, what was your standout moment, Martin?
Oh, that's a good question. There was quite a lot happening today, wasn't there? Even though I think a bit different today because it was not the same as before. But I think my standout moment. That's a good question. I think the win from Diogo, because that was just such a good drive from him in race 1. So I think that is my moment for today. How about you?
I think Diogo in race 1 is a very strong shout. I think Jakob, for me, was another driver of the day after having that recovery drive after that spin in race 1 and holding on to the lead with Alex Gower right behind him, which is always a difficult thing to do. So I think for me, the driver of the day might be Jakob, or I think it'd be hard to not at least give a mention to David Glass, who had 2 mega races and got unlucky in race 2, but a lot luckier. Actually, not even luckier. He just managed to get his head down and race very well. So congratulations to David for his driving today, and you should feel very proud. And hopefully we'll see him back at the Hungaroring next week to tackle the 40-minute race.
Yeah, 40-minute race, including pit stop, if I'm not wrong. So, how do you feel about that? Well, that will be exciting. We had it once before at Red Bull Ring. Sadly, I was not there for that, but I heard it was amazing. Do we hope for as an amazing race next time?
I hope so. Red Bull Ring had strategy aplenty, and I hope to see more. And especially now that we have a few more drivers that are racing for the win at the moment, it will be very interesting to see different strategies. You're right, of course, we've got a pit stop, which adds so much more complexity into the race, and even the act of pitting in and the optimizing pit entry and stuff. It's all very interesting. So tune in this time next week to see how that ends up. But I'm sure these drivers will produce another great show. We've not had one bad race yet, not even one okay race. They have all been absolutely superb, so I cannot wait to see it happen once again.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you there, Sebastian.
Awesome. So I think we've got nobody more to interview. We will end the stream here. So thank you very much for watching. If you've been keeping abreast of the racing via our stream, it's always nice to have you. A very special thank you to my co-commentator Martin, and again to Vincent, who has been behind the scenes and doing his magic as always and trying to keep up with my rambling. So a big thank you to him. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in and everybody that's raced in this series. And we shall see you in 1 week's time for the 40-minute race of Hungaroring. But until then, we bid you farewell and have a great week.